Innova has just released the Ohn Scoggins Signature Edition Swirled Star Destroyer, and the very first comment that I saw was, is this just the same thing as the Eveliina Salonen one? And at first glance, I can totally see why you might think that is the case. So today, in this video, we're gonna find out if they're the same disc. Maybe they just slapped on a different stamp. I have no idea. We're gonna check them out, throw them on different angles, see how they fly, do some side profiles, testing how they feel. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Now before I give this a first throw, I did make a video about the Eveliina Swirled Star Destroyer that said that it was a destroyer for the people because it was an understable version of the destroyer right out of the box. So I'm really hoping that this one is very similar. Off the rip, it feels incredible. So let's give it a first throw, see how it flies. I'm gonna try and throw this just nice and flat so we get a good idea of how it flies. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow. That thing flew incredible. Had the perfect S flight. I'm only throwing at about 70% power. I'm still getting over my back injury, and that thing just went past 350 into a headwind, no problem. Let's compare it to the Eveliina Salonen one. This is last year's 2024 World Champion Signature Edition. Obviously that's Ohn Scoggins 2025 World Champion Signature Edition. We'll see if there's any flight differences. Gonna throw this one nice and flat as well. See how they compare. Slipped. Put that in the blooper reel. I'm gonna go grab that. We're gonna redo that throw. Take two with the Eveliina Salonen Swirled Star Destroyer because, well, I absolutely wiped out on that first one. Thankfully, I don't think I broke anything. All right, here we go. Nice and flat. Try and compare it to that Ohn Scoggins one. Okay. Interesting. That seemed to be a little bit straighter and a little bit more overstable than this Ohn Scoggins one, especially into that headwind. Let's give them a couple more rips, see if we can find out any differences between the two of them. The Mod Squad community is absolutely popping off once again. We're well over 1,800 subscribers and it's climbing every day. So if you're liking this content, make sure you hit that like button. If you don't want to miss any videos, you gotta hit that subscribe button. I'm doing a huge 2,000 subscriber giveaway coming up here shortly. So stay tuned until the end of the video to find out the details on how you can win this amazing package. All right, back into the video. Okay, we're gonna throw these on some flat releases once again, just to see if there was something that was going on there as to why the Eveliina Salonen one flew so much straighter than that Ohn Scoggins one. Maybe it was a wind thing, maybe it was just me being scared of slipping again, which reminds me, if you have any good shoe suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Okay, this time we're gonna start with the Eveliina Salonen one. We're gonna try and throw it nice and flat once again, just to see if we can get a good comparison between the two. Shows just a tiny bit of turn and then still gives you that destroyer fade going out to about that 350 mark. Again, just getting over a back injury, still only throwing about 70%. Now, let's try the Ohn Scoggins one. Same angle, same power, same release. Shows a lot more turn. Wow. And not as much fade. That is very interesting. I thought they were the exact same discs. And I'll show you some side profiles of the two, but there's definitely some differences here. That Ohn Scoggins now, twice in a row, significantly more understable. All right, let's go grab them. Okay, so I kind of teased it before, but we're nearing that 2,000 subscriber mark, so I want to do a huge giveaway for the Mod Squad community. So, every single video that gets over 200 likes until the end of the year means one more disc that I'm giving away at the end of the year after we reach that 2,000 subscriber giveaway mark. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, and while you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get back into reviewing this awesome new Ohn Scoggins Swirled Star Destroyer. We just threw these on flat, and there was a significant difference between the Ohn Scoggins Destroyer versus the Eveliina Salonen one. The Ohn Scoggins seemed to show a lot more turn, and it didn't really fade as hard as a destroyer normally would at the end, whereas the Eveliina Salonen one seemed to go straighter with a little bit more fade at the end. So, comparing the two side by side, honestly, they look identical. There's nothing I can tell between the two of them. Even if you look at the top, the swirls in the swirled plastic honestly looks identical too. Obviously there's a difference in the color, but that's pretty much it. When we're looking at dome, take a listen. That's the Eveliina Salonen one, and this is the Ohn Scoggins one. So yeah, there's a bit more dome in the Eveliina Salonen one. So maybe that's why we're getting a little bit more straight and a little bit more movement at the end of its flight. Let's throw these on hyzers and anhyzers and see how they handle the different angles. Starting off with the Ohn Scoggins Destroyer, we're gonna be throwing this on a nice hyzer into this really stiff headwind. Flips up to flat, goes pretty much dead straight with a lot more fade at the end thanks to that hyzer release. Okay, now, same angle, same power, same everything with the Eveliina Salonen Destroyer. Definitely more stability in that Eveliina Salonen Destroyer, and it's not even close. Let's throw them on some anhyzers next, see how they handle that angle. So the Eveliina Salonen Destroyer is showing a more consistent overstable flight compared to this Ohn Scoggins one. Let's try this on some anhyzers and see how they handle it. So, first up, Ohn Scoggins anhyzer. I'm gonna try and throw this out far left because it is so much more understable, and we've got a headwind. Yeah. Doesn't really want to fight back, just a little bit at the end as it slows down. Okay, now we're gonna compare that same type of anhyzer with the Eveliina Salonen version. Yep, I definitely need new shoes, but either way, you could still see that that Eveliina Salonen one is fighting out of that anhyzer much more aggressively than that Ohn Scoggins one's. Gonna go grab those discs. We're gonna talk about where they sit in the lineup and who these discs are for. Now, obviously it wouldn't be an Ohn Scoggins Destroyer review if we didn't throw it on a good chop forehand, so let's see how it handles these forehands. Such a beautiful flight out of that disc. Thanks a lot to that understability. It just wants to hold that angle and push a lot further. I'm gonna go grab that, then we're gonna wrap this video up talking about where it fits in the lineup and who these discs are for. So we started out this video trying to determine whether or not Innova just changed the stamp on these WorldStar Destroyers from the Eveliina ones to the Ohn ones, and I think without a doubt we can see that these Ohn Scoggins ones are way more understable. Where they fit in Innova's plastic lineup is probably just above Pro. Yeah, that's right, these premium WorldStar Destroyers are almost as flippy as the Pro ones in my opinion. And that's right out of the box too. Star, Champion, Halo Star, and especially Halo Champion are gonna be much more overstable. In fact, if you grabbed Ohn Scoggins Tour Series Destroyer this year, which was in Halo Champion plastic, you probably have the perfect blend of an understable version and an overstable version. So, if I said before that the Eveliina Salonen ones were the destroyers for the people, then what does that make the Ohn Scoggins one? I think it makes the Destroyer for literally everybody. If you're looking to grab your first ever Destroyer or your first ever distance driver, I would probably steer you towards something like a Valkyrie or a Beast. But if you're set on a Destroyer mold and it's your first ever one, this is definitely one that you should think about grabbing because it is so easy to flip up and ride. Now for people that can throw 400 plus, this might be the furthest throwing disc in your bag. It's giving me those same kind of iBlend Emperor vibes where they just go on forever. They still have some stability at the end of their flight, but you can put them out into the wind and they're just gonna drift and carry forever, especially if you can find one that's a little bit more domey than this one. Now it's still good on forehands too, as you just saw, which is really nice because of that flatter profile. So there you have it. If you're a beginner, a newer player, or if you're looking for a bomber disc, this one's for you. Remember, if this video gets to 200 likes, I'll be giving away one of these discs in the 2,000 subscriber giveaway at the end of the year. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you in the next one, and as always, get out and throw.